get that feeling when something just makes too much sense not to happen? That's exactly the vibe around the idea of Justin Simmons landing in Philadelphia. It's not just a rumor or some fan-driven fantasy. There's legitimate buzz around this possibility. And when you start to dig into it, the pieces start falling into place naturally. The Philadelphia Eagles, as it stands, have a group of young safeties with a lot of potential, but they also have a glaring need for experience and leadership in that secondary. And Simmons, he might be the perfect answer to that problem. Let's start with who we're talking about. Justin Simmons isn't just a name on the free agent list. We're talking about a 4-time second-team All-Pro safety who's consistently been one of the smartest, most dependable players in the NFL since he entered the league in 2016. He was drafted in the 3rd round out of Boston College, and from that moment on, he became a staple of his team's defense. His knack for reading the quarterback, jumping routes, and creating turnovers has made him one of the most respected ball hawks in the game. And it's not just about stats. Though 32 career interceptions speak for themselves, it's about leadership, communication, and elevating the players around him. Now, think about where the Eagles are right now. Darius Slay and other veterans from their secondary are gone. That unit, which once had a perfect blend of savvy vets and energetic youth, has been stripped down. And while the talent is there, the experience isn't. Reed Blankenship has been fantastic. One of the most underrated pieces of the team's defense. He's tough, instinctive, and knows how to find himself in the right place at the right time. He's the kind of player who doesn't shy away from contact and has built a reputation as a locker room favorite. Coaches trust him. Teammates respect him. Fans love him. He was even part of the leadership group last season and got mentioned as a possible successor when one of the captains left. Then you've got Sidney Brown, another promising player drafted in the 3rd round not long ago. Brown showed flashes during his rookie year. He plays with aggression, he flies around the field, and he's got the kind of high motor energy coaches dream of. But that same intensity can sometimes be a double-edged sword, over pursuing plays, taking risky angles, missing opportunities. That's part of the growth curve, and he's still early in his journey. Still, he's versatile. He can be deployed in traditional safety roles, maybe even some hybrid formations. Slot corner? Probably not ideal since he's not as quick in tight spaces. But as a physical presence near the line of scrimmage, absolutely. And let's not forget Andrew Mukuba, the rookie the Eagles just picked up. A Texas guy with a game reminiscent of another standout player we've seen before. Mukuba plays with fire and passion. He had the lowest passer rating allowed among college safeties last season. At his previous school, he even lined up as a corner, which just shows his adaptability. Sure, he might be slightly undersized for the position, but his game speed is elite and he plays bigger than his frame. You can see the vision the Eagles have for him. Maybe something similar to how they used their former star hybrid defender, who racked up tons of snaps in the slot and created chaos all over the field. So you got these three, Blankenship, Brown, and Mukuba, all young, all talented, all still learning. That's exciting, but it's also risky. What happens if one goes down? What happens when you're deep in the playoff hunt? And you need someone who's been there, someone who can line everybody up and make sure the defense doesn't collapse. Under pressure? That's where Justin Simmons fits in perfectly. Not only does he bring elite coverage skills and high football IQ, but he also knows the system. He played under Vic Fangio during his all-pro seasons, and he thrived. Fangio isn't in Philly, but his coaching tree is. The Eagles' current defensive backs coach has deep ties to that scheme and is well respected in the building. A coach players listen to and believe in. Simmons knows that language. He's fluent in it. The transition wouldn't just be smooth. It would be seamless. It's also worth mentioning that Simmons himself has expressed genuine interest in the Eagles. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario dreamed up by fans or analysts. He's excited about the idea. When asked, he didn't mince words. He said playing in Philly would be amazing. That's not something you hear every day from a seasoned veteran. And when you've got a guy with his resume openly saying he wants it, you pay attention. And let's talk money. Simmons is over 30 now. He's not going to command the kind of contract he once did. He's already earned his big payday. And now he's looking for the right fit. A contender, a team where he can make a difference and possibly chase a ring. That makes him an ideal target. Low cost, high upside. Even if he's not your full-time starter, just having him on the roster as a rotational piece or injury insurance is a massive win. The leadership alone is worth the investment. Think back to last season. Simmons may not have had his most dominant year, but he was still productive. He had 2 interceptions, 4 passes defended, and he remained one of the smartest players on the field. The drop in performance? There's context. He was on a new team for the first time in his career. New system, new teammates, different dynamics, and that team's defense as a whole. They struggled. The pass rush was non-existent, which put the secondary under constant pressure. The defense allowed 69.9% of passes to be completed, the highest in the NFL, and gave up 34 passing touchdowns. That's brutal. And when your front 7 can't get to the quarterback, your safeties are left out to dry. It's no coincidence that after 1 season, the defensive coordinator was fired. The new system didn't work, and Simmons wasn't the only one affected by it. But even in that environment, he still made plays. He still showed why he's one of the smartest safeties in football. And historically, since entering the league, he's been top 5 in almost every major category for defensive backs. Durability, consistency, production, he checks every box. Now imagine plugging that kind of player into this Eagles roster. You're not just adding a body, you're adding a difference maker, a leader, a communicator, a veteran presence who can stabilize a young and talented secondary and help them grow. He's been through it all. Playoff pushes, tough seasons, coaching changes, you name it. And now, with the Eagles looking to reclaim their spot as one of the top defenses in the league, he might be exactly what they need. Even from a strategic standpoint, this move makes sense. You get a player who's motivated, affordable, and familiar with the style of defense you're building. You cover yourself in case of injuries, you mentor your young guys, and you signal to the rest of the locker room that this team is serious about competing now. It's not about making a splash, it's about making a smart move. And this would be one of the smartest they could make. Simmons brings more than just stats, though again, 32 interceptions since 2016 puts him at or near the top of the league. He brings reliability. Out of 9 seasons, he's played 13 or more games in 8 of them. The only exception was 2022. That kind of availability matters. It's one thing to be good. It's another to be consistently available. Coaches love that. Teammates rely on it. And there's something else worth pointing out. He's not just a zone coverage guy or a deep third specialist. Simmons can play in the box, match up with tight ends, disguise coverages, and blitz when needed. He's a complete safety. And while he may not be in his athletic prime anymore, he makes up for that with elite anticipation and study. He sees things before they happen. That's what separates the great players from the good ones. So here's the bottom line. The Eagles don't need Justin Simmons to survive the season. They have young guys who are ready to step up. But if they want to thrive, if they want to push for another deep playoff run and build a defense that can hold up against the best in the league, then adding Simmons is more than a luxury. It's a strategic move that could pay off in a big way. And hey, if it really is just a matter of finding him a place to live in South Jersey, like Baldy joked, that sounds like the easiest part of the whole deal. And while we're on the topic of logic and opportunity, there's one more layer to all of this that just cannot be ignored. Philadelphia isn't merely in need of help at the safety position. They're in a transitional phase on defense. That secondary, once full of household names and veteran presence, is now very much in the process of redefinition. And when a defense is being reshaped, the one thing it cannot go without is a central voice, someone who commands respect, who can teach by example and calm the chaos during those frantic, game-altering moments. Justin Simmons has done that his entire career. Bringing him in now while your younger talents are still absorbing the league might be the smartest foundation move you can make this offseason. Let's take a closer look at what went wrong last year. Not just for Simmons, but for the entire context around him. He joined a new team after nearly a decade with the same organization. That's already a massive adjustment. And although the defensive scheme he landed in was supposed to be familiar, everything else was not. New environment, different expectations, and unfamiliar culture. And in the NFL, those things matter more than most people realize. You could have the same playbook, the same play calls, even similar personnel, and still feel completely out of rhythm if the system isn't clicking around you. That's what Simmons dealt with. On top of that, the team he joined struggled immensely to generate pressure. The pass rush which is absolutely vital to any secondary success, simply didn't show up. They finished last in the league in sacks with just 31 and had the worst pressure rate in the entire NFL at 28.1%. That means quarterbacks were sitting comfortably in the pocket, scanning the field, taking their time, and inevitably finding holes in the coverage. No defensive back can hold their ground forever. No safety, not even a 4-time All-Pro like Simmons, can cover the entire field when the front seven isn't doing its part. And the results spoke volumes. The defense allowed the highest completion percentage in the league and gave up the second most passing touchdowns. That's a disaster by any metric. So yes, Simmons' overall grade dipped. Pro Football Focus gave him a 59.9 overall. Not exactly a flattering number. That ranked him 113th among 171 qualifying safeties. But again, context matters. His run defense grade was poor, coming in at 1. 149th. Coverage grade, 60.8. Not awful, but certainly not where we've seen him before. Yet despite the statistical decline, he still managed to notch 2 interceptions, 4 passes deflected, and a couple of big plays that stood out. A testament to his instincts and veteran savvy. The thing is, we're not evaluating a player in his prime looking for a long-term deal. We're looking at a seasoned veteran who still brings value, tremendous value, to a team that doesn't have much experience left in that part of the field. Simmons knows how to read formations pre-snap. He knows how to anticipate route. Concepts. He knows where the quarterback wants to go with the ball before the throw is even made. That's experience. That's film study. That's years of doing the job at a high level. The Eagles need that in their building. When Philadelphia was making their Super Bowl run, a lot of people focused on the flashy names and big offensive numbers, but the real foundation was built on discipline, intelligence, and communication on defense. That starts with players like Simmons, guys who don't just do their own job, but help others do theirs. Guys who point out coverage issues before the snap, who shift players into the right positions, who know the tendencies of opposing quarterbacks. That's the stuff that wins games in January. Let's talk about how Simmons might fit into this. Current roster. With Reed Blankenship locking down one safety spot, Simmons would slot in perfectly alongside him, either as a full-time starter or as a rotational piece who can be brought in during critical situations. That versatility is important, especially in today's NFL, where offenses are constantly evolving and challenging defenses with motion, mismatches, and misdirection. Simmons gives you a chess piece who can handle multiple responsibilities. Need him to cover a tight end? He's done it for years. Need him to help stop the run? He's not afraid to come downhill. Want to disguise your coverages? He's a master of deception, showing one thing pre-snap and executing another after the snap. And again, we can't overlook how familiar he is with the kind of system the Eagles want to run. That connection with Fangio's scheme, with the language and responsibilities involved, makes him a plug-and-play addition. There's no steep learning curve. There's no delay in getting him up to speed. He already understands the terminology, the philosophy, the reads. That allows the coaching staff to immediately use him in impactful ways without spending weeks installing new concepts. Sidney Brown, while promising, is still developing. He showed flashes on special teams last year and is recovering from an ACL injury. Expecting him to suddenly take on a full defensive role might be asking too much too soon. And if any of the starting safeties go down, Brown would be the next man up. That's a lot of pressure for a player still working back from a major injury. Simmons, on the other hand, is durable. He's played 13 or more games in 8 of his 9 seasons. That kind of reliability matters over a 17-game schedule. There's also the locker room dynamic to consider. Losing respected veterans has a bigger impact than most fans realize. It's not just about what they do on the field. It's about how they lead meetings, how they push younger players in practice, how they set the tone for professionalism and preparation. Simmons was a captain, a vocal one. He's been the face of a defense before. Having someone like that in your room, especially with such a young group around him, creates a standard. It sets the bar for what it means to be great, day in, day out. And for a guy who's been in the league as long as he has, Simmons still seems to have that hunger. That chip on the shoulder. He's not looking for a retirement tour or a cushy final contract. He wants to win. He wants to compete. He's not just saying the right things in interviews. The way he talks about potentially joining Philly, there's genuine excitement in his voice. You can tell he's not done. Not even close. Of course, the Eagles front office will weigh everything carefully. They always do. But when you line up the pros and cons, the reasons for making this move far outweigh any concerns. It's a low-risk, high-reward scenario if Simmons doesn't have it anymore. Fine, he's not breaking the bank. But if he does, if he can recapture even 80% of what he's been for most of his career, then you've got one of the smartest, most experienced safeties in the game helping lead your defense into the postseason. It's the kind of move good teams make. Not desperate ones, smart ones. Teams that know a championship window doesn't stay open forever and that you have to stack your roster with dependable veterans who can stabilize the storm. Simmons is exactly that. And let's not forget his track record. Since 2016, he's ranked among the top defensive backs in total interceptions, total snaps played, and passes defended. He's also shown that rare combination of ball skills and durability. Some safeties are great for 1 or 2 seasons and vanish. Simmons has been producing at a high level for nearly a decade. That's the kind of consistency that commands respect in this league. So what's the holdup? Maybe it's just timing. Maybe the team is still evaluating their young guys in OTAs and waiting to see how things shake out. But if there's one thing the Eagles have shown under their current leadership, it's that they're always scanning the horizon for ways to improve. They're not going to wait until something breaks down to make a fix. They want to be proactive. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has shocked the NFL landscape, star quarterback Patrick Mahomes has announced his departure from the Kansas City Chiefs and accepted a deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. The announcement, which came early this morning, marks the end of an era in Kansas City and sends shockwaves through the league just months before the start of the new season. Mahomes, widely regarded as one of the most talented quarterbacks of his generation, spent his entire professional career with the Chiefs, leading the team to multiple Super Bowl appearances and securing 2 championship titles. Known for his exceptional arm strength, improvisational skills, and leadership on and off the field, Mahomes quickly became the face of the franchise and one of the most recognizable athletes in all of sports. His decision to join the Eagles was confirmed after weeks of speculation and behind-the-scenes negotiations. While terms of the deal have not yet been fully disclosed, sources close to the situation describe it as one of the most lucrative contracts in NFL history. Mahomes' move to Philadelphia is expected to immediately transform the Eagles into serious contenders for the Super Bowl, adding a dynamic new layer to their already talented roster. Fans in Kansas City have reacted with a mix of gratitude and heartbreak. After all, Mahomes brought unprecedented success to the franchise and helped reshape the image of the Chiefs both nationally and globally. In Philadelphia, however, excitement is palpable. The arrival of Mahomes signals the team's ambition to return to the top of the NFL, following their Super Bowl appearance in the 2022 season. Neither the Chiefs nor the Eagles have released detailed statements yet, but Mahomes took to social media to thank Kansas City fans for their unwavering support over the years. "Kansas City will always have a special place in my heart," he wrote. "But I'm excited for this next chapter with the Eagles and can't wait to get to work." The NFL season is still months away, but one thing is certain. The 2025 campaign just got a lot more interesting. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.